The young and the restless spoilers, the shattered veil of deception. The night was thick with secrets and tension as Nate navigated the dimly lit corridors of the abandoned industrial estate, a place where the echoes of past betrayals mingled with the chill of imminent danger. The air was heavy with foreboding, and every shadow seemed to hide a ghost from Nate's troubled past. Tonight, however, fate had drawn him into the heart of a deadly confrontation that would test his resolve and force him to confront the deceptions of those he once trusted. It all began when Nate discovered that a fierce battle was brewing among those who were once so important to him. Two figures, indistinguishable in their outward appearance but as different as light and darkness, had converged upon this desolate locale: the real Damian, a man whose enigmatic presence had long loomed over Nate's life, and an imposter, a cunning doppelganger who had assumed Damian's identity for a twisted scheme. How could it be that the real Damian knew exactly where Nate was and deliberately sought him out? The answer lay in the labyrinthine web of loyalty, betrayal, and a dark past that bound their fates together. Nate's mind raced as he recalled whispered rumors of Damian's involvement in a clandestine underworld network. The real Damian had always been shrouded in mystery, but it was known that he had an unyielding sense of justice, a trait that had often put him at odds with the deceptive machinations of his imposter self. Tonight, that part of Damian's soul had awakened with renewed urgency. His unexpected arrival was no coincidence. He had tracked Nate not only to warn him of an impending betrayal but also to enlist his help in averting a catastrophe that threatened to dismantle the fragile balance of their world. As the night unfolded, Nate observed a covert meeting between two notorious figures. Amy, a quick-witted and merciless con artist with a talent for turning even the most precarious situations to her advantage, and the imposter Damian. Both shared a common thread: each was a consummate deceiver with an insatiable hunger for power and control. Their alliance was forged in the dark recesses of deceit, and together, they hatched a nefarious plan to eliminate the real Damian, whose very existence jeopardized the narrative they had painstakingly crafted. Their goal was not simply murder, it was the eradication of the truth, a move that would allow them to rewrite history in their favor. The situation took on a horrifying dimension when Nate discovered that Damian's biological younger brother was in grave danger. The life of this innocent soul, often overshadowed by the larger-than-life drama between the twin faces of Damian, now hung by a thread. Fate, however, had smiled upon Nate. By a twist of providence, he had managed to intercept a vital moment, a conversation laden with sinister intentions, between Amy and her deceitful partner. Hidden in the labyrinth of corridors, Nate's keen ears captured every word as Amy revealed her lethal plan, confident that her enemies would fall prey to the carefully prepared poison she had concealed. Every word that spilled from Amy's lips was a dagger to Nate's heart. Her cold, calculated tone painted a grim picture of a future where betrayal reigned supreme and where the lives of the innocent were mere collateral in a game of power. The revelation filled him with a burning rage and a determination that eclipsed his earlier apprehension. He was not merely an observer anymore, he was now an active participant in this unfolding drama, sworn to protect the one person who meant more to him than any piece of wealth or twisted ambition, Damian's younger brother. The one person whose safety had become a beacon of hope amid the encroaching darkness. In that fateful moment, Nate made a silent vow. He would shield his family from the chaos wrought by deceit and treachery, and he would not rest until Amy and the imposter Damian were brought to justice. The weight of responsibility settled upon his shoulders like a mantle of destiny. With the knowledge of their malicious plans burning in his heart, Nate resolved to confront his enemies head-on. The path ahead was fraught with peril, and every step he took could lead him deeper into a labyrinth of danger, but his determination was unyielding. As the confrontation loomed closer, a series of clandestine events set the stage for an explosive climax. In a secluded part of the estate, beneath the flickering neon lights of a long-abandoned warehouse, Nate finally came face to face with the real Damian. The tension between them was palpable, a silent acknowledgement of the complicated past they shared, interwoven with both admiration and betrayal. Damian's eyes, usually so unreadable, betrayed a glimmer of relief at seeing Nate, but they also held the weight of grim knowledge. "I knew you'd be here," he murmured, his voice a mix of relief and sorrow. "I've been tracking the ripples of deception for weeks. Amy and our imposter have set in motion a plan that could destroy everything we've fought for. Nate listened, his resolve hardening. He recalled every instance of manipulation and every moment when trust had been broken. Yet now, more than ever, he understood that the battle was not merely a clash of wits and wills, it was a struggle for the soul of their intertwined destinies. His mind raced with the implications of Amy's poison, meticulously prepared to take down the real Damian and anyone who might stand in the way of their sinister ambitions. "We can't let them succeed," Nate declared, his voice resolute. "I won't allow any more innocents to be sacrificed." The plan was set into motion by the treacherous duo. Amy, with her poison hidden in a vial as deceptively innocent as the calm before a storm, was poised to strike. The imposter Damian, his features contorted in a mask of feigned loyalty, played his part perfectly, luring unsuspecting targets into the trap they had so carefully devised. Their goal was to eliminate the real Damian in one swift, irrevocable blow, a move that would then allow them to continue rewriting the narrative to suit their dark ambitions. But Nate, ever vigilant, had managed to eavesdrop on their conversation. The hushed tones and the sinister confidence in Amy's voice had etched an indelible image in his mind. Every word was a testament to their duplicity and the cold-blooded nature of their scheme. His heart pounded with a mixture of fear and determination as he realized that time was running out. If he did not act swiftly, the poison could be administered and the fabric of trust would be irreparably torn asunder. With the gravity of the situation pressing down upon him, Nate made a split-second decision. The lives of those he cared about, especially his younger brother, a symbol of hope and a living reminder of what was truly at stake, depended on his ability to outmaneuver his cunning foes. He raced through the labyrinthine corridors, guided by the faint echoes of the clandestine meeting he had just witnessed. Every footstep was a battle against the dark forces that sought to undo the delicate balance between loyalty and betrayal. The ensuing confrontation was nothing short of cinematic. In a dimly lit chamber, where the interplay of shadow and light created an atmosphere of imminent danger, Nate confronted Amy and the imposter Damian. The air was thick with tension, and every glance exchanged carried the weight of 1,000 unspoken accusations. "It ends now," Nate announced, his voice reverberating through the silence. "I will protect my family at all costs. You will be held accountable for every act of treachery." Amy's eyes narrowed in a mixture of disdain and calculation, while the imposter Damian attempted to mask his fear with arrogance. The struggle that ensued was a blur of rapid movements, desperate maneuvers, and near misses that spoke to the high stakes of their deadly game. Nate's determination was matched only by his agility and resourcefulness. Every moment was a race against time, especially as Amy's vial of poison glinted ominously in the half-light, a silent promise of death if allowed to be unleashed. As the confrontation escalated, Nate's mind raced to find a solution. He knew that capturing them alive was the only way to expose the full extent of their malevolent plot. With a strategic burst of strength and cunning, he managed to disarm the imposter Damian and subdue Amy just as she lunged forward, intent on administering the lethal toxin. The struggle was intense, and for a fleeting moment, the outcome hung in the balance. But Nate's resolve, fueled by his love for his younger brother and his unyielding sense of justice, ultimately prevailed. In the aftermath of the chaos, as the dust settled and the night's dark secrets were brought into the light, Nate took a moment to catch his breath. The real Damian, still reeling from the shock of the betrayal and the close call with death, offered a nod of reluctant gratitude. "You did what needed to be done," he said quietly. "But this is only the beginning. There are deeper layers to this deception than we ever imagined." Nate's eyes burned with determination. "I'll see it through," he vowed. "I won't let anyone, no matter how cunning or treacherous, destroy what's left of our trust and our family." With the imposter Damian and Amy securely detained, Nate turned his focus to the vulnerable younger brother, whose safety now symbolized hope amid the relentless storm of treachery. The story of that fateful night was not merely one of conflict and confrontation. It was a testament to the enduring power of loyalty in the face of deception. Nate's unwavering commitment to protect his loved ones had set in motion a chain of events that promised to reshape the balance of power forever. And as the first light of dawn crept over the horizon, illuminating the scars of the night, it became clear that the battle between truth and lies was far from over. In this relentless struggle, every act of treachery would be met with an unyielding stand, every betrayal countered by a resolve as fierce as the rising sun. In the days that followed, as authorities began to unravel the intricate web of deceit spun by Amy and her accomplice, Nate's reputation grew as a guardian of truth in a world teetering on the brink of moral collapse. His actions that night had not only saved a life but had also ignited a spark of resistance among those who had long suffered under the weight of subterfuge and corruption. The revelations forced an introspection within the clandestine circles where power was often abused, and slowly, the groundwork for a new era, one defined by transparency and accountability, was laid. Yet, the scars of that night would linger, a reminder that in the realm of deception, one could never be too cautious. Nate's journey was far from over. Every step he took in the pursuit of justice was fraught with challenges, and the ghost of betrayal would continue to haunt him until the day every lie was exposed and every guilty party brought to account. But as he looked at the determined faces of those who had come to trust him, Nate knew that the battle was one worth fighting, a battle for the sanctity of truth, for the preservation of family bonds, and for the promise of a future free from the shadows of deception. Thus, in the annals of those who dared to stand against the tide of corruption, Nate's stand became a beacon, a reminder that even when the darkest forces conspire to twist the truth, the light of loyalty and courage can prevail. And so, as the saga continued to unfold, every whispered secret and every carefully laid trap only served to strengthen his resolve, ensuring that the legacy of that perilous night would be remembered as the turning point when truth triumphed over deceit. The chaos unleashed, a battle beyond imagination. The war that unfolded was beyond what anyone could have anticipated. The writer, the architect of this gruesome conflict, had crafted a battlefield unlike any seen before, one teeming with treachery, deception, and shadows lurking in every corner. It was not just a clash of swords or a contest of brute force, it was a mind-shattering struggle where loyalty was fragile, and truth was a flickering candle against the roaring winds of manipulation. At the heart of it all stood Nate, a man thrust into a maelstrom of lies and shifting alliances. He had always known that the world he lived in was ruthless, but even he was not prepared for the scale of deception that had now spiraled beyond his control. Everything he thought he understood was unraveling before his eyes, and the one person who seemed to stand at the epicenter of it all was Amy. A warning ignored. Devon had been the first to warn him. "Amy is not what she seems," he had cautioned, his voice edged with urgency. "Ever since she lived with your father, she's played the victim. But she's far from innocent. She knows how to manipulate emotions, how to make people believe in her weakness, and how to use that to her advantage." Nate had brushed off the warning at first. It wasn't that he trusted Amy completely, but his mind had been too consumed by the battle with Damian, both the real one and the imposter, to give Devon's concerns the full attention they deserved. But now, as events took a turn for the worse, he realized how deeply Amy had entangled herself into this war, spinning her web of deceit like a master puppeteer, pulling strings that even he hadn't noticed. Devon's words echoed in his mind. "She's always been playing a game, and we're all just pieces on her board." But if that was true, then what was her endgame? The unraveling of control. Nate had prided himself on control, on knowing who his enemies were, on anticipating their moves before they made them. But now, control was slipping from his grasp like sand through his fingers. Every decision he made seemed to be countered by an unseen force, and every step forward felt like walking deeper into a trap that had been set long ago. Amy had done something. He could feel it. But what? Was she still conspiring with the imposter Damian? Was she working alone? Or worse, was she playing both sides, weaving a plan so intricate that even her supposed allies would fall victim to her schemes? Nate didn't have the answers. But Audra did. The watchful eyes of Audra. For weeks, Audra had been watching Amy, tracking her movements, listening to her conversations, piecing together a puzzle that no one else had even realized existed. She knew things that could shatter the illusions Nate was still clinging to. She had seen Amy for what she truly was, not just a liar, but a master of psychological warfare. Amy was dangerous. More dangerous than Nate, Devon, or even Damian had ever considered. And yet, Audra had not revealed what she knew. Why? Was she waiting for the perfect moment? Was she hesitant, unsure of whether Nate was ready to face the truth? Or was there something even more sinister at play? If Audra had been following Amy, that meant she had witnessed things that should have already exposed Amy for the fraud and threat that she was. And yet, she remained silent. Nate had to ask himself, was Audra playing her own game? A storm on the horizon, the weight of the truth was crushing down on Nate, but he was not someone who backed down from a fight. He had fought too many battles, lost too much, and sacrificed too deeply to allow himself to be deceived now. He needed to act. Amy was not just another player in this war, she was the storm on the horizon, the chaos waiting to be unleashed. And if Audra was holding back, that meant she was waiting for something significant. A key moment. A catalyst. A trigger that would set everything ablaze. Nate had no choice. He needed to force Audra's hand. He needed the truth, and he needed it now. Because if he didn't get it in time, the next move Amy made might just be the one that none of them could recover from.